Right now at 8, Governor Evers responds to comments made by the president's border czar over comments on his guidance to state workers. We've got the details ahead. But first, Jacob is in this morning with the first warm forecast as some of the rain that we've had starts to clear out. Plus, the famous chimney has now been placed atop the Sistine Chapel, ready for the upcoming papal conclave. Live from Madison, this is Weekend Mornings, and we thank you for joining us here on this Saturday morning. I'm Kyle Pazorski. Singer Frankie Valli turns 91 today. And let's start with a look at the first warm forecast. Jacob's here. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Kyle. The good news is that the rain is over and we're not expecting any more rain for the rest of the weekend. But temperatures are going to be a little bit on the chillier side today. Overall, not too bad, but a big reason for those chilly temperatures is we're going to see persistent cloud cover through the early afternoon for much of southern Wisconsin. It will be a bit clear further northeast towards Green Bay and also further northwest towards Eau Claire. But again, this is only going to be the case through the early afternoon. By the late afternoon and evening, these clouds look to clear out of the area, and then clear skies are expected for tonight and most of tomorrow. Now, the cloud cover this morning has kept those temperatures relatively mild to start the day, middle to upper 40s for much of southern Wisconsin, a bit cooler further north, but they're not really going to rise too much today. Highs will only be in the middle 50s, but the wind is going to be very calm, and like I mentioned, the sun will come out. Actually, it's sunny right now. We'll see peaks of sunshine early and complete sunshine later. So overall, perfect sweater weather, I would say, because it is not going to be too bad at all. A little bit warmer as you go further northwest. And again, winds very calm. And looking at the highs across the area, 50s in southern Wisconsin. Highs could hit the lower 60s, though, further northwest. Plus, this is also expected to be the coldest day going forward, as temperatures will easily hit the 70s a few days over next week. I'll talk more about that coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Topping our news, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers and the White House trading words regarding a memo Evers sent to state employees last month on what to do if ICE shows up at their workplace. The memo tells those working for the state to immediately notify their supervisor, ask agents for documentation, contact their office's attorney, and avoid answering questions if ICE does in fact show up. President Trump's border czar Tom Homan saying this week, if someone knowingly harbors an illegal alien, it is a felony and will be treated as such. Yesterday, Evers addressed Homan's comments in a video address.
I haven't broken the law, I haven't committed a crime, and I've never encouraged or directed anyone to break any laws or commit any crimes. Overnight, Republican lawmakers piled on, encouraging the Trump administration to arrest me. Showing threats like this should be of concern to every Wisconsinite and every American who cares about this country and the values held here.
The White House has not responded to the governor's comments at this time. The Madison Police Department has a message for anyone parking downtown. Recently, MPD said it's had more car break-ins than usual. MPD did not, however, have the exact number of recent reports, but according to their public community crime map, there have been nearly 20 reports of break-ins within the last month. They say it is more common to see a spike in crime in warmer months, and that you should always hide or take your valuables with you when you're not by your vehicle. UW-La Crosse is celebrating a milestone Friday as Dr. James Beebe has officially become the university's 11th chancellor. The traditional ceremony featured an academic procession with faculty in full regalia entering the Bluffs Ballroom Friday. While Dr. Beebe has led the university since last July, the investiture ceremony officially recognizes him as chancellor. During his address, Beebe outlined plans to enhance student success, develop the local workforce, and strengthen partnerships throughout the Coulee region. At least one person has died after a crash along U.S. Highway 18-151 near Barneveld. The crash happened near the intersection with Iowa County Highway K. According to law enforcement, the crash involved a semi and a car. No word yet on if there were any other injuries. The crash did, however, block traffic for about 5 hours. President Trump is at his Palm Beach estate this weekend while work in Washington continues on multiple fronts. The Trump administration has now announced its budget plans with spending cuts in it, while it asked the Supreme Court to give DOJ personnel some data on millions of Americans. Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest.
President Trump left his Palm Beach Golf Club Friday, while in Washington, his administration took another swing at giving DOJ more power. In an emergency appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, the Trump administration asked to clear the way for the Department of Government Efficiency to access sensitive Social Security data with personally identifiable information on millions of Americans, supposedly to find fraud. Billionaire Elon Musk has said he's winding down his time with DOJ, but the administration says the department's work to cut government waste will continue.
He was treated very unfairly by I guess you'd call it the public, by some of the public, not by all of it.
Friday, the president also gave Congress his budget blueprint, calling for $163 billion in spending cuts. It targets public health, education, and clean energy programs, but would not touch defense, border security, Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. In an executive order this week, Trump defunded PBS and NPR, accusing them of bias in their reporting. It affects public TV and radio stations across the country that are supported in part by the federal government.
I'm still really befuddled by all of this and the potential damage.
But the president is gearing up for a military parade in Washington with thousands of troops, dozens of aircraft, and tanks. It's planned for June 14th, the 250th anniversary of the Army and the president's 79th birthday. One defense official tells CBS News early estimates peg the cost at tens of millions of dollars. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And on social media Friday, President Trump renewed his war with Harvard University, saying he'll revoke its tax-exempt status. Harvard's president told the Wall Street Journal that taking that step would be, quote, highly illegal. Taking a look at Wall Street, where stocks closed in the green as investors digested a better-than-expected jobs report Friday. The rally coming as new data showed the economy added 177,000 jobs last month, surpassing many expectations. Markets were also boosted after China signaled an openness to begin trade talks with the U.S. And here are the numbers. The Dow gained 564, the NASDAQ jumped 266, and the S&P gained nearly 83. Looking overseas, the famous chimney is now in place at the Sistine Chapel, ready for the upcoming papal conclave. Workers in Vatican City put it all together on Friday. The conclave begins on the 7th and can take several days. Once it starts, cardinals will be cut off from the outside world, and rounds of voting will continue until one candidate receives a 2/3 supermajority. The ballots are burned after each session, and black smoke from the chimney means no pope has been elected. However, white smoke signals the cardinals have elected the next pope. The last two conclaves each lasted only 2 days. Prince Harry will have less protection than he would like during visits to the United Kingdom. It was on Friday when the Duke of Sussex lost his appeal against the British government's decision to decrease his security detail in the country. A committee downgraded the protection status after Harry and his wife Meghan stepped back from their roles in the British royal family in 2020. In an interview with the BBC, Harry said he is gutted by the decision and thought the court would have decided in his favor. He also said he hopes with the conclusion of this case, he can reconcile with his family, especially his father, King Charles. To more local news, a Madison staple has just a week left of its decades-long run in business. George's Flowers is closing its doors and taking its family legacy with it. Maddie Heims reports.
This has been basically the heart and soul of our adult life.
For siblings Denise George Schultz and Con Scholes, life is a garden that was planted by their parents.
My dad and mom opened the shop. I joined them right from the beginning.
George and Nia Scholes opened George's Flowers in January of 1984. And the business has been rooted in family ever since.
My parents, they loved it. They loved having us involved in it.
Just like their mom and dad, Denise and Con made a home of the flower shop. They took over operations from their parents years ago, and Denise's daughter Lauren has been building bouquets for essentially her entire life.
George's Flowers has been our home and our staff's home for 41 years.
Even when George entered hospice in the fall, his home was still on South Park Street.
We would take over a bucket of flowers each day, and he'd process flowers at the hospital until literally 2 days before he turned 100.
George passed away just days after his 100th birthday. Nia died the evening of her husband's funeral.
They would be married 70 years this summer. And we like to just think about it that, that she's with Dad.
That's when Denise and Con decided their life's work should go with them too.
So for us, as far as the business, it kind of took away some of the joy.
They want people to remember the shop for the two that started it all.
We didn't want to sell our name or sell our business that needed closure as our family.
So after 41 years of celebrating the special occasions of their customers, Denise and Con feel it's time to give George and Nia their flowers.
No, I think that's our story.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
George's Flowers' last day will be next Saturday the 10th. The shop will be open from 8 to 2 for one last sale ahead of Mother's Day. Now looking around the state, an abandoned boat on Milwaukee's lakeshore could be removed by as early as Tuesday. This is according to WISN-TV Milwaukee, which says a towing company plans to have about a dozen workers who will park two 50-ton rotators near the shoreline. So this is basically kind of like a big crane that will lift the boat on a specialized semi-trailer and haul it away. The boat has been stuck in this location since October and gained a lot of recognition online when it ran out of gas and ran aground at that location. All right, time now is 8:10. Still to come, a look at the week's biggest health stories with why the arm you get your vaccine in matters. But first,
Good morning, everybody. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. Seasonably cool today, but it will be warmer for Sunday. And in general, we're going to see very little precipitation going forward, and temperatures for the most part will be on the mild side. Now, looking at the current radar, all the rain we saw last night has cleared out of the area, and we're not expecting any more rain for the rest of the day. We will see on and off clouds for the most part. We'll see mostly cloudy skies in southern Wisconsin, a little bit sunnier as you go further north. But once we get towards the late afternoon and evening, all of those clouds will be out of the area, and then we're expecting clear skies for the rest of the night and for most of tomorrow. Just a few passing clouds in southern Wisconsin, but that'll be just about it. Once we get to Sunday night, though, we do have a small chance of rain, mainly in southeastern Wisconsin. But as we get into the morning on Monday, some of those showers could creep into Dane County and surrounding areas. La Crosse and Eau Claire, very unlikely you'll see rain during this time, and even those areas that do see rain, it will be very light. But cloudy skies look to continue for most of the day on Monday before we see those clear skies return for Monday night. After Monday, very little precipitation is in the forecast. A lot of dry weather is expected, maybe just a few isolated showers and storms here and there, but nothing significant is expected. Now, looking at the temperature forecast again today, a little bit on the cooler side. The average high is in the middle 60s, will be in the middle to upper 50s, but again, a little bit warmer further northwest where you folks in Eau Claire will see a little bit more sunshine today, but everyone will see those clear skies tonight, with low temperatures dropping into the upper 30s. So it will be a little bit chillier of a morning, but by the afternoon tomorrow, it will be warmer than today. Upper 60s, lower 70s expected. Partly sunny to mostly sunny skies and almost no chance of rain. Now, as we take a look at the highs going forward, a lot of 60s and 70s are in the forecast, just a little bit up and down. But once we get towards next weekend, it looks like we'll consistently see 70s. Maybe even some areas could see lower 80s. Now, looking beyond the 10-day forecast, the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook shows more warm temperatures expected for our area. Cooler than average temperatures down south, but a lot of the northern part of the United States, including Wisconsin, expected to see those temperatures continue to be warm. So looking at La Crosse's forecast, I mean, it's hard to get better than this, especially considering that we're not really under a drought right now. We do have some drought conditions, but we just saw a lot of rainfall, and it was a good thing we did see a lot of rain because, as you can see, there's very little of it going forward. But almost every single day will be very, very nice. Again, today a little bit on the cooler side, but still not too bad at all, considering we're not really going to see a lot of wind, and we still are going to see some sunshine, especially later in the day. Then we got that small chance of rain on Monday, mainly for southern Wisconsin, with very dry and very sunny conditions by the time we get to the middle and end of next week.
I like seeing the 70s on your 10-day forecast.
Yeah, there's a lot of them too.
Yeah. All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, get ready for hats, horses, and a whole lot of gambling. The 151st Kentucky Derby is this weekend. Later today, the hoofs will hit the ground at Churchill Downs in Louisville. At just before 7 p.m. Eastern, the four-legged contenders will thunder down the track in the first leg of this year's Triple Crown. The Kentucky Derby, aka the Run for the Roses, is also known for the distinctive headwear. The long-standing tradition of ornate fascinators and derby hats will again be on full display this year. Well, today on the Health Watch, why the arm you get a vaccine in matters, and a warning about men ignoring their health. Michael George has the week's top health stories.
While men are more likely to get sick and die from common illnesses, they're also less likely to seek medical care. A study in Denmark looked at how men and women respond to diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and HIV and AIDS. They found despite men having a higher risk and higher rates of death, they sought out health care less often than women and were also less likely to stick to their treatment. The number of teens using nicotine pouches is skyrocketing. A study by the University of Southern California found in just a year, teen use of the easily concealed packets of nicotine nearly doubled. Influencers on social media have helped boost the popularity of nicotine pouches by claiming they help with confidence, masculinity, and mental sharpness. And which arm you choose to get a vaccine shot in could make a difference. And no, it's not about getting the shot in your dominant arm. A study by the Garvan Institute found if you get a booster vaccine in the same arm as your first dose, the immune response happens quicker, often within the first week. But after a few weeks, the level of protection is the same, no matter which arm you got your follow-up shot in. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
And we're coming up on 8:20 here on your Saturday morning. Still ahead, Wisconsin's inland fishing season begins today. We'll share what you need to know. Plus, Will Loper checks in with a look at the 3 things you need to watch. This is Weekend Mornings. Well, welcome back. Live here in Madison. Some news, more to get to this morning. Wisconsin's inland fishing season begins today. Residents and non-residents 16 and older must purchase a fishing license if they plan to go. These can be purchased online or at registered locations. Annual resident license costs $20 each. However, a spousal license is at a discount for $31. You can purchase a license online at the website listed there on your screen. And Jacob, honestly, it's a pretty good day to go fishing. And fish, they kind of like the clouds and some light rain as well, so pretty good for them.
Honestly, didn't know that they like the clouds versus the sun. I'm not a fishing expert, but yeah, if they like the rain, then I think it's pretty good considering we just got a lot of it, although we're not going to see any more for today. We will see a good amount of clouds with a few peaks of sunshine, then complete sunshine later. But I do want to talk about that rain we've seen. So we got over 2 inches of rainfall over the last couple of days, and that about matches the amount that we saw for the entire month of April. It actually already exceeds the amount we saw May 2 years ago. So definitely a good amount of rainfall, and that's brought the yearly total very close to normal. Now, obviously, as I've been talking about, it's going to be very dry the next week or so. But looking at the drought monitor, this doesn't even include the rain we just saw. A lot of the area not under a drought, still seeing that moderate drought in southwestern Wisconsin, but the rain we saw the last couple of days has helped. So we definitely could afford this break from the rain, and it's certainly going to be a break because this is the total rainfall we're going to see over the next 7 days. Some areas might not even see a single drop going forward.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, let's take a look at the trailer here. This is for the highly anticipated video game Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's now being delayed. Its developer Rockstar Games announced Friday it will now be released on May 26th of next year. No reason was given for this delay. Details on GTA 6 are still scarce, as we only know so far that it will be set in and around Vice City, which is the GTA universe's version of Miami. Some other entertainment news, Kanye West is planning to sue his dentist for getting him addicted to laughing gas. The rapper's legal team sent Dr. Thomas Connolly a formal notice of intent to sue. It claims Connolly gave West nitrous oxide during cosmetic dental treatments. Then the complaint alleges Connolly taught West how to self-administer the gas and sent large tanks of it to his home. It goes on to say West sustained neurological damage due to prolonged exposure to the gas. There is no shortage of films and shows streaming. Our Will Loper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
Emily, how are you here? I'm getting married. Will you be my maid of honor? Did I mention it was in Capri?
Capri? Yes, she is in. We're all in.
Watch Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively chew up the scenery in Another Simple Favor, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
Gotta figure out what she's up to.
We all process the happiest day of our life differently.
Kendrick must find out what sort of revenge Lively's character has planned for her at an extravagant wedding in Italy.
What is the game here?
Miles! Want to get out of here?
Oh, Gwen?
Swing your way through an animated superhero film with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, newly streaming on Disney+.
Miles, being Spider-Man is a sacrifice. You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world.
The sequel to 2018's Into the Spider-Verse continues to follow Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy as they enter a multiverse full of even more Spider-Man variations and villains.
Text Danny and Claude. ETA 431, please be ready.
And watch the dynamics of a friend group change in The Four Seasons, newly streaming on Netflix.
Are you guys happy?
What kind of question is that? Come on.
We sit in the same room, monitoring different screens. We're like coworkers at a nuclear facility.
Tina Fey, Coleman Domingo, Steve Carell, and more star as six friends whose relationships get upended after one couple announces their split.
We have chosen each other. Come here.
Those are the three things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
And still ahead here on Weekend Mornings, got a look at today's biggest news and weather headlines. Stick with us. Right now at 8:30, the Trump White House looking to get workers at DOJ more access to sensitive data. We've got those details ahead. Plus, the vehicle smashes into a coffee shop on Madison's east side, but it's not the first time. This is Weekend Mornings live from Madison. I'm Kyle Pazorski here on this Saturday, May 3rd. Let's get straight to the first storm forecast, and Jacob Montesano is standing by with what you need to know. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Kyle. All the rain we've seen over the last couple of days, that has cleared out of the area, and we are very dry right now, and we're expected to remain dry for the rest of the day. Now, as we take a look outside, this is a live view from Platteville showing plenty of cloud cover. There are a few areas seeing a few peaks of sunshine, but overall, we're still seeing a good amount of clouds in southern Wisconsin, despite the fact that the rain has come to an end. Now, the continuous cloud cover is expected to continue through the early afternoon. Some areas will see more sunshine, especially places closer to Lake Michigan and further northwest towards Eau Claire. But then everyone will see sunshine during the evening, and overnight we're going to continue to see clear skies. Now, temperatures right now in the middle to upper 40s across the board, very close to normal for this time of the year. But temperatures, the highs are not going to be near normal. They'll be a little bit below that because of that cloud cover. It's going to prevent those temperatures from rising into the 60s. We're going to see a lot of 50s in southern Wisconsin, but the wind is not really going to be a big factor. So overall, it's not going to be too bad out there, just a little bit cool for this time of the year. La Crosse may see temperatures a little bit warmer as we'll see a little bit more sunshine further northwest, so highs may get into the 60s. But today is expected to be the coldest day going forward. There's a lot of 70s in the forecast. I'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Our top stories this half hour, the Trump administration has asked the Supreme Court to clear the way for the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOJ, to access sensitive Social Security data. The emergency appeal comes after a federal judge restricted DOJ's access under U.S. privacy laws. The White House says the group needs access to target waste in the federal government. The move comes as President Trump unveiled his budget proposal for next year, which includes steep cuts across federal agencies. And as Republicans in Congress begin considering the budget, cuts to Medicaid may be included to enact President Trump's agenda. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin was in Madison on Friday for a Medicaid roundtable for this. Her visit follows a report earlier this week that Wisconsin could lose billions of dollars in federal Medicaid funds over the next decade. This is if the GOP enacts the budget. At the same time, Republican Representative Brian Stile of southeastern Wisconsin said he wants to see work requirements for Medicaid.
Achieving the savings that they're talking about from imposing work requirements for them is not feasible. What did that mean?
Now, the House Energy and Commerce Committee is planning to meet next week to finalize and advance a portion of the plan, which includes Medicaid cuts. Meanwhile, the labor market is proving it's resilient with a better than expected jobs report. Employers added 177,000 jobs in April, and unemployment remained steady at 4.2%. But payrolls for the previous 2 months were revised downward by 58,000 jobs. Economists are still bracing for the full impact of Trump's tariffs. Transportation and warehousing added 29,000 jobs last month, which is likely due to stockpiling before the tariffs took effect. And back in Madison, demonstrators marched on the state capitol Friday to make their voices heard. Voices de la Frontera holding their Day Without Immigrants and Workers rally. The group is demanding justice for the immigrant and working community, including providing driver's licenses for all, as well as accessible education and stopping the collaboration between ICE and sheriffs.
I'm actually very excited and very happy to see the support and how united and the alliance that we can have for all the voices, all the people, young, old, and doesn't matter what color you look like, just being here and being on the same page.
The group held a similar rally at the Capitol on Thursday for May Day. And some more local news, a vehicle crashed into a Madison coffee shop Friday afternoon. This was the scene at Mother Fools on Willie Street. No injuries were reported. This isn't the first time a vehicle has crashed into this business. It was back in 2016 when 3 people sustained traumatic injuries when something very similar took place. According to a Facebook post, the shop plans to be open today, but is asking guests to use the back door. A new report from the Wisconsin Policy Forum shows in order for Sun Prairie to maintain its fire and EMS response levels, the city may need some new approaches. In recent years, Sun Prairie has extended its EMS service area, stopped serving a nearby town, converted its once private fire department to a city agency, and faced the loss of veteran part-time firefighters. So all of this as responses from city firefighters tripled between 2014 to 2024. Researchers suggest the city revisit agreements with Marshall and other towns, which are set to expire at the end of this year. The researchers also found a small number of addresses make up a disproportionate number of the city's EMS calls. They suggest the city could benefit from adapting mobile integrated healthcare, in which paramedics work proactively with frequent callers to prevent emergencies and reducing future calls. And another option is a referendum asking people who live in Sun Prairie to exceed state-imposed limits on the city's property tax levy used for operations. The Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is celebrating the legacy of Wisconsin's triennial with 3 new exhibits. Every 3 years, the exhibition displays the latest art being made across the state. This year, it will feature works by 24 established and emerging artists from across Wisconsin. Milwaukee says one of the great things about this exhibition is the chance to share local artists' work with the state's wider art scene.
We see that a lot of faculty from different universities within the region are represented, but there's a lot of emerging and younger artists who this might be their first museum exhibition, as well as very seasoned artists who are known globally.
The origin of the Wisconsin Triennial dates back to 1978 and is part of the museum's mission. Milwaukee regularly acquires artwork from these exhibitions to add to their permanent collections. All right, time now is 8:36. Still ahead, the Hilldale Farmers Market returns today, and we'll share the details next. Plus, here's a look at today's Day in History. Well, if you're looking for some outdoor fun this weekend, the Hilldale Farmers Market might just be the right fit for you. It opens for the season today and will continue on every Wednesday and Saturday through the growing season. Amanda Stevens, who leads marketing for the market, shared on Live at 4 yesterday what's so great about the Hilldale experience.
I think the farmers market is a great example of that. I mean, it leans into the experience that is Hilldale. I mean, we have great shops, but we're not just a place to come and shop. You can bring your families. There's giant yard games and mini golf and all sorts of stuff. You can just like hang out and experience. You can get some takeout, eat on our green. Tons of things to do.
So here's some information if you want to go check it all out, as well as all the other fun that she mentioned. Things opened a little while ago at 8 o'clock this morning and will run through 1 o'clock this afternoon. And this happens every weekend and Wednesday through the end of the growing season. You can find it behind the LL Bean on the west side of the Hilldale Shopping Center. Let's check back in with Jacob for another check of your first warm forecast.
Thanks, Kyle. Overall, pretty okay conditions today. A little bit below normal, but we are going to be dry for the rest of the day. Although we're going to be cloudy, not going to see any wind, but those highs are only going to be in the middle to upper 50s. We will see sunshine later in the day, and more sunshine is expected the further north and west you're located. For Sunday, it is going to be a lot warmer. Highs will be in the upper 60s, lower 70s. Still a bit on the cooler side, closer to Lake Michigan, but a lot of sunshine is expected. Maybe a few clouds here and there, but overall, we're still going to be dry. But temperatures going forward next week, we're going to see a lot of temperatures in the 60s and 70s, and a lot of these days are not going to bring any precipitation either. So in general, we're looking at very nice weather going forward. I mean, today is going to be the coolest day, and overall, it's not going to be too bad outside. So if you can't enjoy the weather today, you got plenty of days going forward to enjoy the weather.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Some fun stories now. Panera Bread has some new menu items which have inspired an accessory. Take a look at it here on your screen. It's Panera's limited edition croissant clutch. The bakery company calls the purse the It Bag of the season. It's inspired by Panera's new croissant toast sandwiches. The dark brown croissant-shaped clutch has some detachable gold chain shoulder straps as well. It also has custom gold metal P embroidery. The product is sold out online at the moment, but you can request to be notified by email once it is back in stock. Shipping is expected to begin sometime in August. Well, happening tomorrow, people here in the Madison area can attend a concert to benefit a local musician and a program helping other musicians in times of medical emergencies or family crises. On December 26th of last year, Rocker was performing on stage at the Gamma Ray Bar when he had a heart attack. But now he's stuck with a massive medical bill. So to help him and artists like him, the Madison Area Music Association is bringing together old bands in a tribute called the Rocker Jamboree.
Well, I was amazed by Jimmy K on the radio live when he told me he put this together, and it was like a surprise birthday party. I didn't know anything about it. So he went to these bands that I used to work with, old friends of mine. I've known these people for 30 plus years. And he got them all to reunite for this one show for me without me even knowing about it. So it was a huge surprise.
The Rocker Jamboree takes place tomorrow night at Burr Oak. A link to purchase tickets can be found over on channel3000.com. It's 8:43, still ahead. Got a look at Friday's sports highlights. Plus, Jacob has another final full look at the first warm forecast. This is Weekend Mornings.
Good morning, everybody. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to see temperatures a little bit on the cooler side today, but still comfortable, and it will get warmer for Sunday, and it's going to continue to get warmer for a lot of next week. And we're also going to see very little rain going forward, which is kind of opposite of the last couple of days where we've seen plenty of rain, including last night. But looking at the current radar, all that rain is now gone. Maybe just a few sprinkles today, but otherwise we are going to be very dry for the weekend. Now, we are going to remain rather cloudy through the early afternoon, but by the late afternoon and evening, we will see those clouds clear out of the area, and then clear skies are expected to continue for pretty much the entire overnight hours and for most of Sunday as well. Maybe a few passing clouds here and there for southern Wisconsin, but otherwise plenty of sunshine. But as we get into Sunday night, we will see some light rain begin to move into southeastern Wisconsin. Could see some of that rain creep into Madison and surrounding areas once we get to the morning on Monday, but anything that does fall will be very light in the areas further northwest. Unlikely to see any rainfall during this time period, but we are going to see more clouds, but then clear skies by the time we get to Monday night. So really that's the only chance of rain going forward. Taking a look at the precipitation chances, it's really just that Sunday night into Monday time frame, maybe Wednesday, but a lot of dry weather is expected and a lot of dry and nice weather is expected as temperatures will be very comfortable. Now, as we take a look at the drought monitor, this doesn't include the rain we just saw over the last couple of weeks, but I'm showing you this to let everyone know that we could definitely afford at least a week of dry weather. considering we had a lot of rain just now, and a lot of Wisconsin not under drought, still in that moderate drought in southwestern Wisconsin. But again, the rain we just saw will likely help next week's drought monitor. Now, we don't want to get into too much of a pattern, which it does look like we may get into that pattern because dry weather is expected to continue through the middle portion of the month. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on that if this persists. But at least for the next 10 days, it's going to be hard to complain about the forecast. I mean, take a look at it. Plenty of sunshine, 60s and 70s across the board. This feels like weather in San Diego. For those of you that don't know, San Diego typically see sunny skies and 70 every day, and that's pretty much what it's going to be here in southern Wisconsin. Now, this is La Crosse. We could see that rain on Monday in Madison, but La Crosse is likely going to stay dry. But I mean, it's just going to be absolutely gorgeous for the next 10 days. Again, today is going to be one of the cooler days, but it's still going to be pretty comfortable because we're not really going to see much wind, and we'll see some sunshine later. So if you can't enjoy the weather today, you can enjoy it tomorrow. But if you can't enjoy it this weekend, next weekend's going to be very nice. I mean, this is about as good of a 10-day forecast as I could possibly show, and it may continue even beyond just the 10-day forecast.
The Packers did something in this year's draft that they've never done before in franchise history when they took 2 receivers in the first 3 rounds. And those 2, along with the rest of the rookie class, were all in Titletown for day 1 of rookie minicamp. And as far as what Matthew Golden and Savion Williams plan to bring to the Packers, well, simple: versatility and some speed.
He texted me literally right after I got drafted, told me it's time to go to work, congratulated me, and just told me, it's time to work. Come here and work. I'm definitely going to try to run 4.29 on the field so Jordan can put the ball out there somewhere for you.
Whatever my team need me to do, that's what I'm going to do. So, Coach tell me to get on tight end and play tight end. So just getting the ball in my hand quick, that's probably it. But, just doing anything I need, doing everything I need to do.
It was a huge night at the Kohl Center for Greg Gard. He tipped off the 8th annual Guarding Against Cancer signature event, and this year's theme was a garden party. Now, the goal since Greg and his wife started it was to raise money and awareness to fight the disease, and since 2016, they've raised over $9 million to benefit research and patient care right here in Wisconsin.
The ability to keep the money right here in Wisconsin and put 90+% of it right to work with research down the road at Carbone, and people feel the impact. There's a tangible impact.
Finally, we're on the same team. I think we make a hell of a team, the 2 of us, and we're finally on the same team, and it's great. I mean, this cause is special. You get 600-700 people here. I mean, how do you beat that? And it's the one time where everybody's on the same team.
In other Wisconsin basketball news, John Tonje has officially been invited to the NBA Draft Combine. In his lone year at UW, Tonje led the Badgers in scoring, averaging nearly 20 points and 5 rebounds per game, earning him second-team All-American honors. Now, the Combine runs from May 11th through the 18th in Chicago. Some good news for the Bucks. Less than a week after tearing his Achilles in Game 4 of Milwaukee's playoff series against Indiana, Damian Lillard had successful surgery to repair that left Achilles tendon. The Bucks guard averaged nearly 25 points and 7 assists per game this season. Brewers welcoming in the NL Central leading Cubs to AmFam. First home series for the Crew since April 20th. And it did not go so well. Craig Counsell's Cubs scored 2 in the first and then erupted for 7 runs in the second. Here's 4 of them courtesy of Michael Busch and a grand slam. It was 9-0 after 2. It finished 10-zip. Brewers lose the series opener, 10-0, the final. And that's it for Morning Sports. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Zach. And still ahead here on Weekend Mornings, a study is unwrapping the mystery of a mummy's preservation. More news is next here on Weekend Mornings. Seemingly unwrap the mystery about a mummy's preservation in Central Europe. The human remains were first stored in a church crypt in a remote Austrian village. Then a group of international researchers used advanced techniques to find how the mummy came to be so well preserved. They discovered a unique embalming method was used, which was a mixture of small wood chips and fabric packed inside the mummy and kept in its air-dried state. The team also concluded the mummified body was that of an aristocrat and monk who died in 1746 at just 37 years old. Jacob, we mentioned this in the earlier show at 5 o'clock. Seems as though this would be my choice for how I would like to be buried, because obviously it worked in preserving the body.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That's my takeaway from this.
I mean, if you want to be preserved, yeah, go ahead.
Isn't that the point of being buried and being a mummy is to be preserved? So they did it perfectly.
Yes, you want to be preserved, but it's also like, do you want to be tested on 300 years after you die? Obviously, you would have no idea if it's
We're going to get emails sent to us. People are going to send emails complaining.
But I mean, in all honesty, it's like, would you rather be preserved to be studied on later, or would you rather just be laid to rest? And it ended right there.
Let's just get to the final forecast.
All right, taking a look at the 10-day forecast. A lot of very nice days are coming. Today is going to be one of the cooler days going forward, but still not too bad, especially with the very little wind. It actually will be a bit windier tomorrow, but temperatures will be warmer, upper 60s, and a lot of 60s and 70s next week with plenty of sunshine and just a small chance of rain on Monday. Beyond that, it doesn't look like we're going to see much in the form of rainfall, so definitely just enjoy the weather.
All right, thank you, Jacob. Thank you all for watching. We're back here tomorrow morning at 6:30. See you then.